guys, welcome to the video. I'm going to be doing a get ready with me today as I do my hair, do my makeup, and discuss my IIH. What is it? How long have I had it? Literally everything that you need to know about my chronic illness. Well, you don't need to know it, but you're going to hear about it today. Anyone with a chronic illness knows that brain fog is a huge thing. So multitasking, not something I'm good at. So bear with me and you're going to see exactly how I may look kind of normal. But functioning, even multitasking, talking, doing something else, and explaining my story is like so much for my brain to handle and compute. So bear with me. But I feel like I want to create a space on here where people can talk about their IIH and be supported. Literally any chronic illness, truly. You don't have to have IIH. It's rare. It's 1 in 100,000 people have it. But I just want it to be a space where people can come, and if you're having a bad day, I'm right there with you. So come with me through my good moments, my hard moments, the days that I can barely get out of bed, barely shower, or the days that I have a good day and you mentally ask yourself, am I okay? When is the ball gonna drop? All that type of thing. So yeah, this will be my little getting ready with me. I'm just gonna... IIH stands for Idiopathic Intracranial Hypertension. Essentially, it is the buildup of fluid in your brain causing pressure on your optic nerve. Is a disease. It acts as a pseudo tumor. It actually used to be called benign intracranial hypertension, but I believe they changed the name. It is the buildup of fluid behind your eyes, causing pressure on your optic nerve, swelling of your blood vessels. How was I diagnosed? I had gone to my eye doctor. Essentially, I did a test called the Optima. I was 15 years old. I was super depressed, super lethargic, not myself at all. I was in grade 9 at this point, and my parents were like, this girl will not get off her booty. What is going on with her? They didn't know what to do. They literally thought I was just like a depressed, really lazy teenage girl. So that's all from there that they could see, but I had a regular eye checkup. And I remember telling my mom I had lots of headaches and I kept seeing colors in my vision. Like, you know, when you stare at the sun and then you look away and then it's like in your vision for a while, that's what was happening to me, like on a constant basis. So we knew something was kind of up. My mom used to work at an eye doctor's office. So she was like, okay, let's bring you in, the regular checkups due, let's go get this checked out. Just realizing I'm probably not going to be able to do 2 things at once, so we're going to work with what we got here. I go in, I do the 360 Optomap. It's a scan of the back of your eye. It allows the doctors to tell many different things, but mainly it shows the optic nerve and the veins surrounding it, and mine were inflamed. So immediately my doctor thought it was a brain tumor because that's similar signs as to what it would show. So he was like, you need to take her to the emergency right away. My mom was super confused. Like, she did not know what to expect or anything. She was just in shock. She did not tell me right away. And then afterwards I was like, hey, what's happening? Because my mom was like, we might have to go to the hospital. And she told me, so they think it might be a tumor, but they're not sure yet. So we're going to take you in. I went to the hospital and I saw, I believe, the neurologist on call there, and they were like, we're not really sure. I believe they did a CT scan and a brain tumor was not present, so they referred me. It was Dr. Gennam in Windsor, and my eye doctor was John Masnerty. He's fantastic. They were incredible. So then we were sent home from the hospital, and my mom was really stressed. She was like, there is like no way I'm gonna wait until a specialist appointment in Canada. If you're from Canada, you know it takes months to get into specialist office. Like, it's not easy to get into. My mom called, and I believe it was by some luck or chance, the doctor my mom had left a message, and the doctor had accidentally called her back. She didn't mean to, but she called her back. My mom explained to her, listen, I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's really sick. This is what she's experiencing, yada yada yada. And she's like, okay, bring her in tomorrow. I go, she looks behind my eyes with a flashlight, and she says, you need to go to the hospital right away. A side note, just so you guys know kind of what I go through, talking and focusing and explaining that story right now, taking about my whole mental capacity, energy, everything out of me. At that point on, Dr. Gennam sent me to the hospital. I had met with Dr. Astasi. He was the neurologist on call from London. He had said she needs lumbar puncture and she's gonna need it tomorrow. So this is not something that normally happened to 15-year-olds. So this was in the pediatric division, and lumbar punctures can be used for many different things, but lumbar punctures is the only thing that will tell you if it is IIH, because that measures your internal pressures. They essentially put a needle through your spine, similar to an epidural, but it's in there for a little bit longer and it's draining fluid. Fast forward, they drained 33 mils of fluid out of my spine from my brain, and my pressures were off the charts. I don't even remember what they were, but he literally said it was beyond the measurement that they could have. This was when I was 15. For context, I'm 24 now. And he had told me, you are one lucky girl, and that God was looking down on me. He was like literally the sweetest man. I literally loved him so much. So I went on my way, and I had ended up being homeschooled for about a year, I would say. So pretty much my second half of grade 9 until like my first little bit of grade 10, I was homeschooled. And they had me on acetazolamide, also known as Diamox, which is the #1 pretty much drug for IIH. And I was on so many of those pills. I was on upwards of 9 pills a day of those. And slowly they weaned me off as I lost weight. So they told me the first thing you need to do is lose as much weight as possible. Around this time I weighed 330 pounds and I was 15. I know that sounds like, whoa, crazy, but I had always been big my whole life, and it had just gotten to the point of I needed to make a change. But living with this illness, it's not easy to lose weight. So many things all the time, plus all the medication. It was extremely hard, but I did it. I had lost 130 pounds over the course of a year and a half. I felt amazing. I was off the medication. I had a normal life for a few years. It was the most incredible couple years of my life. Up until COVID, really 2020, was when I realized that I was having similar symptoms again. It makes me a little bit emotional talking about it because I don't want to cry. I haven't even begun to get ready yet, so maybe it's a good time to cry. The feeling of, oh gosh, I don't want to cry. The feeling of getting better, and I was so happy those few years. So right. We're gonna keep it together here. The feeling of not living with that illness, it was honestly amazing. And then when it came back, we didn't really know it was that until we went back to the eye doctor and they saw similar things, and I was referred to neuro-ophthalmologist. Now this is like, that first happened when I was 15. This was a little bit later, so there was definitely more research, bigger funding, more doctors. So I was referred everything to London. So I then had a neuro-ophthalmologist in London, Dr. Lula Burston. She was fantastic. It's been 5 years now that I have had it reoccurring again, and I'm on the journey to remission. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that now without crying. That would be really nice. I think I'll just curl the hair because that will honestly be the easiest getting ready with me to do as I talk. I was seeing her from 2020, I believe it was March 2020 that I started to notice things were happening again. I had gone on a skiing trip with my boyfriend's family, and we were like within the first 6 months of dating, and I had told him about what had happened to me before, but so this was obviously peak COVID too. I'd had my vaccines, I had been through everything. I had COVID by this point already, so Lord knows if it's long COVID that triggered it. I really don't know. A little clip to my hair up. It had come back by this point, and I was kind of working with Dr. Burston to figure out, okay, what can we do to get me back into remission and to get this condition under control? Because the main thing I should stress enough is that you can go blind from this. It threatens your vision. The risk of losing your sight, the risk of not being able to ever have that again. She was like, get the weight down, we'll put you back on the medication. I think I was maybe on like 6 of these pills a year or two. And then she had told me that she really thought that you know, my levels had not gone down. They have you do visual fields, they have you do all these eye tests where they can tell. She looks in your behind your eyes, and she had told me, you know, Alexa, it's not coming down. I think you might need surgical intervention. There's different options, but they offered the stent, they offered a shunt. The shunt is one of the more popular ones, but it is a lot more complicated because the shunt drains the fluid, but it has to be adjusted and removed, and it just felt really scary to me, and they'd have to go through my skull and my brain and all that stuff, and it just was really scary. And so she had said there was a venous sinus stent where they actually go through your arm and place a stent behind your ear, because with my condition, the reason, again, they don't have a idiopathic, they don't have a reason why it is happening. Dr. Pandy in London, after I met with him, we decided that the venous sinus stent on my right side of my brain would be the best choice. My two little arteries behind my kind of ear. Not everyone apparently has them, but if you do have them, mine are pinched. So I guess with IIH, that is common, something you're born with. It's just the way it is. He was the first doctor to ever say to me, I want you to know this is not because of your weight. And coming from a neurosurgeon that studied at Harvard, I was like, could not be more thankful to hear that, because your entire life when you're chronically ill or any illness, it is always first thing, weight loss. Like that's the number one thing. Because yeah, it does lead to a lot of issues, and living a healthier lifestyle is really what we should be doing. But it's easier said than done, especially when you have pre-existing conditions, and especially when you're going through so much already. You're trying to navigate things. He said to me, it is not because of your weight. You were born with these pinched veins, and it does not let the fluid drain. So he said, what we're going to do is we're going to go through your arm. I believe he said it was like a 70 to 80% success rate. I can't remember the exact numbers, but he said it's not guaranteed. You could have a stroke from it. It could go bad, but I think it's worth a try. Not functioning, and you're clearly not enjoying life, so like, let's try something, let's do something different. And then I had my surgery May of 2022. I had my stent placed in my arm all the way up into my brain, and they placed the stent, and it was the most scary 24 hours of my life, because you know, a doctor saying to you, hey, just so you know, if you're gonna have a stroke, it'll probably be within the first 24 to 48 hours. So just be careful. Literally traumatizing, horrifying, all of the above. It was a really hard recovery. Not to mention, like, my sister was getting married that year. My sister-in-law was getting married that year. It was a very hard time to be going through all of this. But I did it. And the surgery, I can't express enough, like, how much it helped my headaches. It helped my headaches with time, because obviously that really hurt at first. I should also note I was on really heavy blood thinner and aspirin, and I'm on an aspirin every day for the rest of my life. So I also have to be careful. What arm is it on? This bruise, like, I literally fell off of a lawn chair, and this bruise was huge. This is like healed over like a week and a half now, but like, I will always have these things I'm living with because of the surgery, and I'll always have a foreign object in my brain because of my condition. A lot of health anxiety with that. There's a lot of things that are hard to express to people, and it's not easy, but after my surgery, things got better for me. I was able to work again. I think I had my surgery in May, and by August I was working as a bridal consultant at literally my dream job, and I loved it so much. Like, literally made me the happiest person in the world. I loved it so much. Don't get me wrong, I was able to function more, but I was still struggling a lot. And then fast forward to about a year and a half ago, for the first time I experienced vestibular neuritis, where my vision was blurred and I was nauseous, really dizzy, vertigo, like everything was spinning. It was horrible. And the doctor's like, I don't know if it could just be from a viral infection you got that. I had a bunch of therapy and things for that, or it could be part of your IIH. I went to the eye doctor. They said, whilst your vision is like, it's not any worse. So they thought, okay, well, it's your condition, but it's not, you're gonna be okay. But I couldn't function, and so I had to, I changed jobs, and I was just trying to, basically I feel like just trying to take control of something in my life to feel better. And now, currently, I am on sick leave from a job that I really, really enjoyed, but I'm on sick leave because I was really struggling to function again. And fast forward to, it was April. I met with a neurologist because I kept having really bad flares. Mind you, London, I see them every 6 months, but I kept having these really bad flares, functioning like I just could not function. And working a full-time job pushes your body to the limit, especially being chronically ill. It's just so difficult. I was experiencing so many symptoms, and I could not get through a single workday without going to the bathroom and holding the walls and just like trying to breathe and trying to function through all of the pain I was in. And so that's when I thought, okay, we're gonna meet with a neurologist locally. I had a trip to the hospital and they referred me to him. because no one in the emergency room knows what to do with you when you have a condition like this. They're like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to help you. Your CT scans looks fine. Your MRI, they're not going to do. We're going to refer you to London for that. So I was at a point where I was like really like frustrated because no one can see it. No one can see the pain you're in. No one can see that. They see me smiling because what else am I going to do? Am I gonna, every time I go out, am I gonna say, I'm in so much pain? Like, I'm in so much pain. It's like, no, who would want to be around you if you did that? Who would want to, you know, put energy into someone that was always negative? So it's really hard to function and really find your way as someone who is like chronically ill a lot of their life. And the guilt with that is really hard to explain. So the neurologist in Windsor, I just struggled. I didn't have the best experience. He had decided, he was honestly really not quite sure what to do with me. He was like, I don't know, when I've heard of your condition, it's supposed to just miraculously resolve. So I don't really know. He didn't like believe me. And that like really irked me off, like really pissed me off, because I was like, okay, I get that you don't exactly study my condition, but it just felt like he just wanted to be right that it was like in my head. He said, well, the only thing I think to do with you is another lumbar puncture to test the pressures. So let's schedule that. So I scheduled that. I was still at work at this time, and it was in April. And he had said to me originally, I don't think that we can do it without the x-ray. I forget what they call it, but he was like, we're going to need to do it via x-ray with a tech because you're too big.
Excuse me.
And I was really like, okay, put it into context. Like, I am literally almost 100 pounds lighter than what I was when I had it done at my heaviest at 15 years old. And he did it with no x-ray. He did it one try. He did not really hurt me. Like, obviously some discomfort, but it was really, I was like, are you sure? Like, you need the x-ray to do this? Because if you feel, and then he felt, and he was like, okay, like I can feel your spine, like maybe, because he was like, I can't really do it for someone of your size. Okay, sir. I went into the hospital that day really nervous because a lumbar puncture is something that the first time I had it done, I did my research and I didn't know what it felt like. But once you know what that feels like, those of you who have had an epidural or a lumbar puncture, like that shit hurts. He tried 3 times, hit my bone every time, and could not do it. Like, okay, well, we're gonna have you go to x-ray. And he was really good. He was just upset that he couldn't get it, that he pushed for me to get the x-ray one done the same day, which a lot of doctors could have just been, sorry, like you're out of luck. But he did, and he felt bad, and they got me in. The guy who had an x-ray also struggled, poked around a few times, and I remember them saying there's blood in the vials, and I was like, there's not supposed to be blood in the vials. It's supposed to just be CSF fluid, spinal fluid. But obviously it was a traumatic lumbar puncture. Now, remember earlier how I was talking about the measuring? They measure your pressures internally. The lab tech asked what was the level, and he said 4. And I was like my numbers before were like 56 above the chart. It did not make sense to me. Fair enough. The doctor, he did call me in the evening, which like I did appreciate. I remember saying to my mom though, like, that was not what was supposed to happen. Through all that pain to literally be inaccurate. And I honestly was punctured over 6 times, and it was not accurate whatsoever. He called me and he was like, so one of 2 things. He said, your pressures were 4, which could either mean that the reason you're having all of the issues you're having is maybe you have a stent leak and it's draining too much fluid, and that's dangerous, can cause like brain sagging, all this stuff, or they did it incorrectly. And he was like, you could be taking too much Diamox, the acetazolamide. And I'm like, I'm on half a pill. How could half a pill drain me that much? It just like did not make any sense. And to top it all off, he was like, I don't know. I actually appreciate the honesty. I appreciated the fact that he was like, I do not know what is going on with you. I just don't. He was like, I've never had this before. I don't understand your case. I don't. And he was like, let me know what London says. So again, back to London. So after this like traumatic lumbar puncture experience in Windsor, it was just a disaster. Like, I was in so much pain. I felt horrible. And then I'm there asking myself, okay, like, is it because it's draining too much fluid? Is it because is it not my IIH? Is it something else? Is there something else wrong with me? Okay, that piece we've tried like 3 times. Let's try again. There we go. It was really defeating to like not know what was going on. And so London, Dr. Pandy, the amazing man he is, he squeezed me in for a full MRI because he was like, you know what, you haven't had an MRI since you had the stent placed. Let's just check and make sure that everything is okay with your stent. We're gonna spray. We go to London and he meets with me. We do that MRI and then we had our meeting afterwards. And he's literally the kindest man. I cannot express how amazing this doctor is. Like, he's phenomenal. And he was like, so the good news, there's good news and bad news. He said the good news is that your stent looks perfect. Your stent looks perfect and there's no leaking or anything like that. He was like, now the bad news is I don't have an answer for you. He was like, I believe it is your IIH and I wish there was something else that I could do for you. But he said, at this point, I'm going to refer you back to Dr. Burston, who's my regular neuro-ophthalmologist, as she will monitor your symptom. He is really for surgical intervention. He did say that if it persists and continues, they could possibly put a stent on my left side. But he's not sure if that would even work or if it's worth it because it's really tiny. And I don't think it's a big enough space for them to prop it open. He's not sure if it's worth the risk. He's told me, like, I believe that was an inaccurate lumbar puncture. And he felt bad that experience happened to me. He was just so validating and like it honestly meant so much to me. Especially because these doctors, like, they study it. They know exactly what you are feeling and it's getting to the right people that is the struggle. But once you're there, you feel understood and you feel better. But at least somebody knows your condition. They know exactly what you're describing to them and they're not invalidating you. And then I went back to Dr. Worston. She looked behind my eyes and she said, you know, there is some swelling there still. And she said, I still need those numbers to go down. So she wanted me to go back on one whole pill and monitor my symptoms. And that's kind of where we're at. She said, they're still not at a normal level. And as much as it sucked, like, it was validating in a way to hear, yeah, it is your IH. But at the same time, you kind of wish it was like something else to be an easier fix. But it's not. And this is a condition I've had for almost a decade, been in and out of remission from. But I'm finding a lot of peace in getting to talk about it. So I'm currently off of work and my hope is to be back working in any capacity and do the things that I love. I'm a musician and I haven't been able to do the thing I love the most in this world because when you book gigs, you show up for gigs, you don't cancel them. And so I've taken a step back from them for a while just while I figure out my health. But when people ask me like how I'm doing or how I'm feeling, you really don't know how to answer because one day will be okay and one day will be like the worst pain and you feel like your brain is gonna explode. You feel like the pressure is so overwhelming and it's so hard to describe. So if you have this condition, please know, or any invisible illness or any illness at all, please know that like I should really take this off. This looks a little funny, doesn't it? Okay. There we go. Please know that like you are so loved and valid in what you're feeling. You waking up every morning and showing up in whatever way capable for yourself is more than enough. And the people that really love you and the people that know you are there for you. And it can be so hard to not feel shame and or mourning like your old life. but please know like how much it's worth keep fighting. And hopefully there'll be more. There's currently no cure for IIH, and hopefully there'll be more studies and research. I'm slowly losing weight, I'm making healthier choices, I'm pushing my body little bit by little bit every single day, and I want to document my journey. I want to document my growth and how it goes. So if you want to follow along on the journey, this is a super long video, and if you've made it to the end, I feel like you deserve a medal because it's been a long one. But I hope that if you have IIH or you struggle with any invisible illness, you find some comfort in the fact that you're not alone, and just do your best. The people that love you know. So thank you for listening. I promise every video won't be me crying and not really getting ready, as I tried. My hair's done, we'll take that. But I really do appreciate you listening to my story. I'll share more. I'll go more into detail about really what IIH exactly is. But thank you for listening, and yeah, I'll see you next time. I'll put a clip in here of my makeup done, so you actually do know that I can get ready, but it's just way too hard with a chronic illness to talk and to do other things at the same time. And magically, we're ready. So thank you for listening. And if you want more explaining about IIH specifically, or just how to deal with these things and taking it day by day, I'd love to film like more of just like my daily life and my journey into hopefully remission for the last time. So thank you so much for listening. And wow, all of this has been extremely challenging. I am extremely hopeful that I can beat this and finally be okay. And to any of you who may have this or any chronic illness, please know that I'm here. You can reach out to me. Lots of love. Lex.